the Georgia Dome. Most of you probably know it as the home of the Atlanta Falcons, or maybe because it hosted 2 Super Bowls, or maybe even a Final Four. In this video, I'll be talking about all the logistics, aspects, anything you can think of about the Georgia Dome being demolished. This is Duke Fan Zone, Demolished. Alright, we made it. It's the first video of the 10-part series I'm doing talking about demolished stadiums. And the Georgia Dome is the first one. The Georgia Dome, I've always been interested in, yet I haven't really had an excuse to do a lot of research on it until this video, so that's why I've been really excited to do this one, and that's why the Georgia Dome is first. The Georgia Dome was a dome stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was domed by Teflon-coated fiberglass fabric. I had to look at my notes for that one. I have no idea what it means. And it was the largest cable-supported dome in the world. That's pretty impressive. The Georgia Dome hosted 256 Atlanta Falcons games, which, over the course of a lot of years, adds up. It hosted the SEC tournament for 10 years and the ACC tournament for 2 years, but by far, its biggest basketball game is the Final Four, which it held once. It hosted 2 Super Bowls in 1996 and 2000, which I don't know about you, but that's a lot of games. Or I think that's a lot of games. It was an official candidate for the 2022 World Cup if it were to be played in America, but Qatar was selected to host the tournament in 2009. And in 2009, they had big renovation, so it was looking all nice and new and jazzy, but Qatar was selected over America. It was the second largest covered stadium in the world at its debut, now only passed by AT&T Stadium and Millennium Stadium in Wales. The stadium turf. It originally used AstroTurf, which is like an older technology, but it's still artificial turf for football games from 1992 to 2002. And then later they used field turf from 2003 to 2017 when it died. Or I should say when it got torn down. It had, like I just said, it had $300 million renovations in 2006 to 2008 that added more suites, changed the seats itself to Falcons colors, added new Jumbotrons. We'll always love those new Jumbotrons. And improved the sound system from a very ancient early 1990s sound system. Alright, that's an overall summary, but now we got to get into the destruction part. The Georgia Dome wasn't very old, but the Falcons president, Rich McKay, at the time, wanted to change the game and do it for a long, long time. He wanted to bring a Super Bowl game to Atlanta, along with more Final Fours and all that, and wanted to make a state-of-the-art venue. Because when he was saying this, it was about 2010, and they hadn't had a Super Bowl since 2000. That's 10 years, and they were not looking for another Super Bowl. The NFL was not looking to bring another Super Bowl to Atlanta with the Georgia Dome. He wanted new amenities, technology, and better fan experience, which if you look at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I think they very much so achieved that goal. If you look up, you can see a massive Jumbotron. We can talk more about Mercedes-Benz Stadium in a second, though. There were no major issues with the Georgia Dome. There were weather issues a few times, including a tornado ripping 2 holes in the ceiling during a college basketball game. That was one of the SEC tournaments that they held. And, fun fact, it was a Georgia player, I believe, that hit the shot to take it into overtime, possibly saving lives. I think it was Georgia player. Alright, now it's time to talk about Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Falcons moved to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is obviously state-of-the-art. At the time, in 2010, they were thinking about having 2 domed stadiums in Atlanta, but the city couldn't support it, so they just decided to tear down the Georgia Dome. They decided, their idea was to have non-football events in the Georgia Dome, but they couldn't do that. And all events were moved to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So Mercedes-Benz Stadium It is huge. It's massive. It's extremely nice, having been twice. Again, check out some Mercedes-Benz Stadium content on our channel. It's massive. I'd say their bragging point is the Jumbotron, which they have all the way up there. They call it the Halo board, I think. It wraps all the way around if you haven't seen it. And I'm not sure if SoFi is any better, but Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that was pretty nice. All right, what happened to the lot at the big lot at the Georgia Dome? It's now a popular tailgating spot for Falcons and Atlanta United games. I guess if they were to tear down Cameron Indoor Stadium for Duke, never would happen. But I don't think they'd use it for a popular tailgating spot. I mean, if they were to tear down Wallace Wade, it probably would be a parking lot for Duke and a tailgating spot. Anyway, to conclude, all in all, the Georgia Dome was okay, but the Falcons wanted a new stadium. Coming up next, we got the Metrodome. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Duke Fan Zone, the place where kids talk Duke.